Hello guys, Atlantis here, hope you are all well. Today we'll be doing another Star Citizen video, and while we wait for the Alpha 3.0, this video will be focused on a comparison of ship sizes of Star Citizen ships, of course, against Star Trek and real life ships. And before we jump into it, it is necessary to make some things clear. This video will consider sizes only, because it doesn't make sense to compare other details since the lores are so different. We can't, for example, compare speeds because Star Trek uses the warp system, which is faster than light speeds, even for its shuttles. While in Star Citizen, we use a more conservative approach with 20% of the speed of light being the official top speed for every ship. And weaponry is also out of question since Star Citizen only uses ballistic and energy weapons, basically lasers, while Star Trek uses weapons that range from antimatter to laser photons and torpedoes, laser torpedoes. So comparing both is like cheating for me. However, comments on those details are possible. For this part, ships like the Vanguard Operator were considered. However, the Vanguard's main purpose is for boarding operations, so it makes it unsuitable for long trips, which need some degree of comfort, I think. And the Vanguard can cram little more than 10 people sitting, that including the crew. So we decided to go instead with the Freelancer Max, which is a ship more likely to carry people around on a budget, and it is relatively well armed and armored. The Freelancer fits in a Idris and will probably be used by most organizations to quickly transport people and cargo, and probably even to deploy troops. In terms of passengers, the Freelancer is only suited for the crewman since it is a cargo ship, of course. However, crammed, it will probably take up to 30 people. But issues like oxygen reserves and G-forces affecting passengers with no seating will be fun and dangerous to watch. And on this part, for us following, I'm thinking about James Corey, The Expanse books, especially the Abaddon Gates one. In comparison, for example, to a real life thing, the Winnebago Grand Tour is twice as long, but far away in terms of comfort. For the Star Trek side, we chose the Runabout, which is a Danube-class ship and considered an interstellar capable shuttle because it can do long travels, and it has a cruise speed of warp 4, which is 102 times the speed of light. It is very well armed for its purpose, being able to take care of itself. However, it can't be carried on any bigger ship, and it is used instead on space stations or by themselves on personal transportation and evacuation operations. This ship can comfortably carry up to 15 people and, packed like sardines, up to 40. In comparison to the Freelancer, the Runabout is made for long travels and can provide a degree of comfort for its passengers, and if compared to the same bus, the Winnebago Grand Tour, it doesn't lose that much in comfort and living space, and it is almost double the length of the bus. It shows that for some reason Star Trek people were able to make more with less when compared to Star Citizen, and also only 3 of those were used to evacuate a full station, so keep that in mind. To close this part, as an advantage, the Freelancer can be carried by bigger ships on the fleet like the Idris, making it more readily available for players and organizations. However, as a disadvantage, it is underarmed, slower, and has unsuitable conditions to carry more than its intended crew in medium to long-range trips. Escort ships were originally intended as warships capable of carrying powerful guns while maintaining maneuverability and speed to protect the bigger ones such as capital or carrier ships. Those ships usually go from the old corvettes and frigates like the USS Constitution from Fallout 4, if anyone remembers, to the more modern littoral combat ships or guided missile frigates like the USS Indianapolis. Since Star Citizen classifies ships such as the Aurora LN as escort ships, which would make it impossible to compare to Star Trek, we took the liberty to use a more comparable ship in terms of size, purpose, and maneuverability to contemporary navies. The Polaris is classed as a corvette in Star Citizen, even though it appears to be intended to be used on a capital ship and carrier role, being escorted and protected by smaller craft like the aforementioned Aurora LN, which the Polaris can also carry, I guess. It is well armored and powered, with high customization capacities which may or may not allow players' decision on the ship's role. The Polaris is just slightly bigger than escort corvette or frigate vessels like the USS Indianapolis, which is 115 meters long. In Star Trek, the comparable ship is the USS Defiant. Classed as an escort vessel, it is the size of a small sports stadium and had 4 decks and a large beam, which made it look like a donut, to be honest. And considering that there is no need for aerodynamics in null gravity, it makes a little bit of sense. Again, laser and antimatter were the main weaponry, together with warp speeds. The USS Defiant was almost 55 meters longer than the USS Indianapolis, meaning we could put 2 Winnebago Grand Tours in front of the USS Indianapolis and the USS Defiant will still be longer. As a summary for this part, as advantages, the Polaris can carry smaller craft for its own protection, while the Defiant is supposed to be the protection, carrying only shuttlecraft with limited fighting capabilities. Clear disadvantage though is the maneuverability in comparison to the Defiant, which is a very agile ship for its size, and when compared to the Polaris, it's like a fighter ship. Capital ships, together with craft carriers, are usually the leading and primary ships on a fleet, most of the time having on its crew the fleet commander. Those ships have the strongest guns and smaller craft carrying capacities both for offensive and defensive situations. However, they are slow and difficult to maneuver. So for this comparison, because the Federation doesn't build capital ships, it worries about building family-friendly ships instead, we will resort to size as the main source of comparison again. In Star Citizen, the Javelin class destroyer, built for the UEE military, is until now the biggest ship on this universe. It is big, customizable, and can carry small craft for protection. It is also a nightly powered ship with 13 size 5 ATA turrets, 2 size 7 STS turrets, and 2 9-meter Desolator class torpedo launchers. Again, for defensive purposes, it relies on carried smaller ships which can fight off ships that are too quick for the Javelin to keep track of. The Javelin is just 13 meters longer than the USS Nimitz supercarrier. However, it can carry a maximum of 4 Merlins, while the Nimitz carries 90 fixed-wing craft and helicopters. Even though it has a minimum crew of 23, the Javelin carries 16 5-man escape pods, which hints to a total crew, Marines included, of 80 in normal situations. The USS Voyager from the Intrepid class is one of the most well-known ships in Star Trek universe, and for that universe it is considered a small ship. It was mainly designed for long-term exploration purposes, and because of this is a very fast ship with modern warp 9, and it is also extremely agile. Well armed and armored, the USS Voyager boasted phaser arrays, phaser banks, spatial charges, and torpedo tubes compatible with photon torpedoes, quantum torpedoes, and tricobalt devices. In other words, it was a killing machine. The Voyager is 2 meters shorter than the Javelin and 11 meters longer than the Nimitz. However, it is far more agile and carries a high number of fighting-capable shuttlecraft like the Type 8. It is built to be an independent ship. That's the most important part. Comparing it to a ship like the USS Voyager, the Javelin cannot really bring any major advantage other than the escort fleet that should be around it and being 2 meters longer. In terms of fighting capabilities, maneuverability, crew accommodations, etc., it stays behind on almost everything. What this comparison allows us to realize is that Star Citizen is conservative when it comes to ship sizes, when in comparison to other well-established franchises like Star Trek. Star Citizen tends to stick its sizes to the real-life naval comparable ships. However, as a disadvantage, this approach ignores that the immense expansion of space and zero gravities allow to the building of equally immense ships that other franchises build. On the other hand, the smaller scope of Star Citizen ships allows them, for example, to re-enter atmosphere without bending physics laws, while other franchises have to come out with alternate reality theories like mass fields produced by Element Zero and Mass Effect. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and feel free to add your opinions on the discussion. And as always, I'll see you in the verse.